So Crypto Universe, I'm back with another video, and today I wanted to talk about Midnight and Cardano. So Cardano, well, the team behind Midnight, so Charles Hoskinson, I always mess his name up, but Charles Hoskinson, as well as several of the other people, they attended Consensus 2025 in Toronto a few days ago. Now, for the people that don't know, Consensus is a yearly like convention that is centered around blockchain and things of that nature. So the team behind Midnight, they went to Consensus to spread the word, of course, about Midnight, and interact with many people who may be interested in this sort of technology. And I was excited to see this because Midnight is a privacy focused blockchain slash technology slash organization that it's still, I still consider it a part of Cardano, of course, because Charles Hoskinson is the one behind it, of course. But to me, I think it's a major deal that we should pay attention to what Midnight has going on, and I wanted to do a video covering some of it, like just a quick summary. So on Midnight's blog, they posted the results from like a survey that they conducted, where the participants of the survey said that they're reporting that 76% of these people say that they are either very worried or extremely worried about privacy, but yet only 18% of people actually read the terms and conditions of any given like website or app that they're on, and only 20% of people actually check the data, like what data these apps are collecting from them. And I'm sure this is something many of us have had concerns about, because we've constantly seen reports about all of these companies getting hacked. Every time you turn around, Experian is getting hacked. Every time you turn around, a popular bank like Chase or something is getting hacked. And that's just in like the world of like normies. Once you get into something that's more emerging and up and coming, like crypto, that still has a lot of development and progress to make, you see reports about hacks going on within dexes as well as within regular centralized exchanges all the time. It's to the point now where most people, including myself, you don't really feel like we're really in a bull run until you start seeing exchanges getting hacked left and right, or reports about exchanges getting hacked left and right. But there's Midnight's not the first privacy focused blockchain project, but you have other ones such as Monero and Permission.io and other companies and projects that are focusing on trying to bring more privacy to everyday citizens. But I do think Midnight has massive potential, and I wanted to touch on a few things. Like, I'm sure many of you are aware, Midnight, it uses zero knowledge proof of utility without compromising data protection or ownership. And basically, whether it's whether it's the world of crypto, or whether it's like the regular world of people who aren't tied to crypto at all, like what I would call like the normie world, what you'll notice is you find yourself in a bad spot where you got to choose between, in their own words, like you got to choose between utility and privacy, right? Like, you want to use a dex to have some sort of privacy, but then you're also putting yourself at risk more often of uh, losing your money, because some of these exchanges get hacked and people's information can get stolen, or at worst, sometimes you're just the money that you had on an exchange can be hacked taken away as well, depending on the situation. And I like the analogy that Charles Hoskinson used when he's explaining this, when he compared it to when people ask for your ID when you need to maybe go to like a bar, or like buy, or if you go to like grocery stores to buy like some cough medicine like NyQuil, and these type of places where they want to verify your ID and they want to see some sort of identification. In reality, well, technically, asking for somebody's ID, that's kind of like a yes or no question. Like, hey, are you 21 or older or not? Or are you 18 or older or not, right? And that could be answered with a yes or no, right? But obviously, when we hand people our ID, we're giving them much more than just a yes or no. We're also allowing them to look at a document that's telling them our full name, our full address, our zip code to the address. And that may not, and then also there, if it's your driver's license, they're looking at your driver license ID number, and also when it was issued and when it's expired. And while that may not be a big deal on the surface, that could lead to things going wrong, because at any moment, some crazy person may memorize that stuff and try to steal your identity. Not saying that's going to happen to you any day you go out and about, but that element is always there. Just like when we use the internet, most of the time people aren't going to steal your identity most of the time, but that doesn't change the fact that our identity has been made public many times, because many of these companies have been hacked on countless occasions and our data was exposed, whether it was used or not. And Midnight, they have the way they're gonna go about it. They have two tokens in the ecosystem that they're going to use: the Night token and then the Dust coin. So the Night's gonna be an unshielded token used for governance, and then the Dust coin is gonna be basically a coin that's used to operate on the chain itself. I'm assuming basically the Dust coin is going to be the main coin that's going to be associated with it. And part of the reason I'm assuming that is because Midnight's already announced that they're going to be doing a massive airdrop to a bunch of different wallets. They said 37 million wallets. I'm still not fully sure how, okay, I understand how they're going to do it, but I'm curious, are there going to be any limitations to certain wallets that they're not going to use? I know they said that if your crypto's on exchanges and stuff like that, it's not going to be involved. But my question is, if somebody uses the MetaMask or Trust Wallet or Atomic Wallet or these different wallets, is it a guarantee that they're going to get it? I'm not 100% sure yet. I still need to look deeper into this and to see if somebody has the answer. If you have the answer, leave it in the comment section below, because I haven't really seen it. But I'm just going to assume that when you're saying you're going to airdrop Dust tokens or Dust coins to 37 million people, that you are in fact going to go to all of these wallets. And it's not just for people that own Cardano. It's going to be people that are that own some XRP and also Ethereum. Charles Hoskinson made it a point to say there are several different cryptocurrencies that if you own on these wallets, they already have set it up to where they're going to check and they're going to be dropping some Dust coins into your wallet. Now, they did not specify how much. I'm kind of curious how much it's going to be, but I guess time will tell. I'm always open to receiving an airdrop. Anytime I hear about an airdrop, a legitimate airdrop, not like a scam, but anytime I hear about a legitimate airdrop, especially one of this magnitude, it is exciting. Some of the things that when I read Midnight's night paper, which is what they call their white paper, there's interesting things that they talk about. They obviously mentioned the main roles it's going to have, which is helping to protect your digital identity. So whether you're a regular person who just doesn't want too much of your information out there, or whether you're a business that doesn't want too much of your sensitive information to be released to the public, but you still want almost like a third party that can come in and verify certain information about yourself. To go back to the analogy about somebody asking to see your ID to go to buy liquor or something, instead of you having to show your ID in this analogy, instead of you having to show your ID that has all this extra information about yourself, you instead could just, through this third party, have verification or provide proof and trusted verification that you are in fact eligible for what you are trying to get, which I thought that was pretty interesting. And then it's also something that could be used for certain elections, like balloting. That's a little trickier because sometimes people want for it to not be super anonymous so they could get more information about voting demographics, but that's a trickier conversation, so I don't really want to get into that. But also, I like the fact that Charles Hoskinson emphasized the fact that he wants Midnight to be something that is not overly complicated. That way, many people can have an easier time adopting it. Many developers can have an easier time adopting it. And they chose to use TypeScript, which is something similar to JavaScript. I thought that was very interesting. But to end things on Cardano, Charles Hoskinson was accused of stealing $600 million. So a guy who is not, in my opinion, not very trustworthy, a guy who has ties back to the days of NFT scams and things of that nature, he accused one. He's one of the main guys at the Cardano Foundation right now. Him and Charles Hoskinson have bumped heads many times. He's accusing Charles of stealing $600 million worth of Cardano in ICO tokens from the using the Genesis keys. I don't think that's really the case, but I don't know. I'm not there. It seems to me the source seems a little too unreliable, but that's just me. Let me know what your opinions are about Midnight. Are you excited about it? And are you gonna get an airdrop? Are you excited for the Dust token? And do you believe Charles Hoskinson